Hi guys, and welcome back to Twisted Locker, your definitive horror podcast. Today we're going to be doing some of our favourite twists of all time, in our personal opinion, of course. Now, quick disclaimer on this video: it's not going to be spoiler free because obviously we're going to be talking about the twists in these movies, so we're actually
Yep.
going to mention what happens in them. So, final disclaimer: if we mention any of the films in this video and you haven't seen them, I suggest you go and watch the film, but come back and watch them once you've seen it.
Good call.
Here we are, Jenks. What have you got?
All right. So the first one I got is 2001's The Others. So if you haven't seen it, bugger off and come back later. It's an awesome film. I'm not going to go into reviewing it. It stars Nicole Kidman. It was at a time when big movie stars did ghost films. And they were big box office draws. She plays Grace, set in 1945. She got a really old like mansion in the middle of the countryside, in the English
Yeah,
countryside. Very creepy. She got children who are photosensitive, and they basically can't go out in the sun because they're very sensitive to the skin. And they think, to cut long story short, they think the house is haunted. They hear noises, voices. There's walking upstairs. It's so terrifying. There's a really creepy scene as well where the little girl, you can see the back of the little girl, and she's just playing. And I think Nicole Kidman says something like, "You're not my daughter." She turns and says, "I am your daughter."
What have you done with my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
It's
yeah,
so fucking terrifying, but so good. Good impression that was as well.
it
Of,
was. It was
of an
spot on.
of an old lady. But anyway, they think the house is haunted. The great twist is they're the ones who are dead, and it's actually the living are the ones they can hear. It's a complete flip on it. So all the noises, all the figures they've seen, they're all the humans, and they are the ones communicating with Nicole Kidman and her children. And she murdered her children, she smothered them. And it's such a brilliant idea. And unfortunately, I think, even though I think it was a hit, I can't remember the numbers, but I think because The Sixth Sense came out 2 years earlier, I think a lot of people comparing the twist to Sixth Sense because they were dead all along. But it is just as effective, well, almost as effective, because it's just a really good idea and a flip on it. But I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Yeah, The Others, 2001, get cracking.
Yeah, cracking pick, Jenks. You know that scene where she goes up behind her daughter and she's got like the shawl over
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
That face, oh
Oh,
my god! Like you don't expect to see like an elderly woman on a kid's
yeah,
face.
it's
Such a great
brilliant.
scene.
Yeah.
Um, it is an underrated film, and I think I've only seen it maybe once not when it came out. I was too young. Maybe when I was a teen. I did like it, but it's not one I've gone back to loads. But cracking film.
Yeah.
My first pick, we've got The Orphan, released in 2009, and we've got a director, Wham Colette Sarah. I'm terrible at pronunciations.
Produced by
So
Guillermo del Toro. Fuck, just do that.
there we are then. So yeah, we've got The Orphan. No, you're thinking of The Orphanage, not The Orphan.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
You
crack
need to
on.
do your research,
See,
Jenks, boy.
it
Come on.
shows. It shows though. I don't know what you're doing. It's genuine. Yeah, we have
Oh, of
pre-planned this,
course.
so
Yeah.
that's a good proof. Carry on. Be shit pick.
Hey, it's a great pick, boy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, so like I said, for the third time now, nice one, Jenks. We've got The Orphan, directed by Wham Colette Sarah. Oh, why do I have to say it again? Release date 2009. This one stars Vera Farmiga, Peter Sarsgaard, and Isabel Fuhrman. And basic plot of the story, you've got a couple who sadly lose one of their children. So they decide to adopt a child, forgetting that they've still got one left, you know.
I
So
know,
they didn't
fussy.
need to fill that much of a void, like. But yeah, so with any horror film, this adoption takes a turn for the worst. And what I love about this twist, right, is that it works without it. Like if you just snipped the end and took the twist out of it, it still work as like a creepy kid movie. We've seen loads of them, but what this one does well, and why I wanted to include this one in the list, is because of that flip at the end. Now, obviously, disclaimer: if you haven't seen The Orphan, go and watch it first and then come back. But the twist at the end, after all this build up in the movie, you've got Esther, played by Isabel Furman, who's the child that gets adopted, and she starts doing crazy things and hurting other children, and the parents start to suspect there's something sinister about her. And then you've got this big revelation at the end, which blew me away. When this film came out, I remember everyone talking about it. Absolutely blew me away. I think she's in her 20s, Jenks, mid-20s.
Something like that, yeah.
She's supposed to be like this 10-year-old child. And you get this great scene towards the end where you realise who she is. And there's this fantastic scene where she's in the mirror and she starts taking her makeup off. And obviously she's all elderly, her teeth are horrible, and
Yeah.
she's not like this cute, polished kid. That is one of the best reveals and twists I've ever seen. And it's actually a fantastic film as well. It's a really good
Yeah.
horror. And this one works well because you're not expecting a twist, because the twist isn't set up at all. They adopt this kid, and it's actually a kid that plays them. So you're none the wiser. It's not like you go, wait there now,
Yeah.
she looks 30 and she's got good makeup on. No,
Yeah,
they
that's a Helen Mirren with
yeah, exactly. So that's why this one works so well. I'm not going to go off too much in the sequel as well, but I just want to say I never thought a sequel could work, but I quite enjoyed the sequel as well. And I think with what they had, they actually made an interesting story. Now it's not as good as the first one, but I quite enjoyed the sequel as well.
Yeah. Right, my last twist. I kind of already given away the twist by
Can I guess
mentioning
it? Can I guess it?
by the mentioning it earlier. You're never gonna guess it. Street Trash. No.
Ah!
Sixth Sense. Okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this film, it came out in 1999. You've had plenty of time to watch it. If you haven't seen it, I'd watch it. It's on Disney Plus. So if you haven't seen it, right, it's such a good twist. You will miss out so much by not experiencing it. It's came out, like I said, 1999. A great year for movies. It stars Bruce Willis as Malcolm, one of his best performances. He's a child psychologist, and he's trying to help this little kid called Cole, played by Haley Joel Osment. And he, the little kid, is seeing ghosts. He keeps saying, "I see dead people." And right at the start, Bruce Willis gets shot and seemingly recovers, and he wants to help this child because he couldn't help another child. And this kid is seeing ghosts all the way through. It's really creepy, very creepy
Terrifying
film. Yeah, and at the end, most people know this, but Bruce Willis was a ghost all along. Now, in my opinion, there are loads of good twists, including the others, including the orphan. I would say this is the greatest twist ever because a lot of people say like Planet of the Apes, the original, is a great twist. It was Earth all along in the future. But that's a revelation at the end. There's no clues, yeah? Not real any clues, apart from the fact that all the monkeys can speak English. Hey, I thought you were speaking American. Right. Sorry for that. But this is in plain sight. He gets killed, he gets shot at the start. No other people apart from the child interact with him. And it's just... And you're thinking, oh my God. And if you rewatch it, you can watch it over and over again. There's not one point where someone interacts with him. And I never believe people who say, I guessed it.
No,
I'm like,
you're not looking for a twist, are you?
No,
why would you guess it?
Exactly. And now, if this film was now, yes, people are much more looking for twists because of this film. After that film, almost every film has a twist, and people are getting better at guessing them. And I just don't think, like you said, people weren't looking for twists back then. They were
Exactly,
like, fuck me, that's a good twist. But it is the best twist of all. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, do you know what? You are right, Jenks. It is the greatest twist of all time, and obviously the most famous twist. What I would do, though, right, is Sixth Sense, right, is the American Werewolf in London of twist movies. So what I would have done is I would have said, let's do a best of twists, not including Sixth Sense, because it's so good.
Yes.
Let's do ones outside of Sixth Sense, but it's a cracking pick, Jenks. You can't deny it is the greatest twist of all time.
I reckon the ultimate twist would be not to include the Sixth Sense on a horror twists video.
Oh, absolutely. You are right.
Blow you away.
If I was to do the greatest werewolves of all time, I would want to do one saying outside of American Werewolf in London, because we could just talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
But
Yeah.
cracking pick, Jenks, one of the greatest movies of all time. Plagued my childhood. That scene where
Yeah.
he's in the bathroom when he gets up in the middle of the night and you can feel him get cold and you see someone walk
Yeah.
past. Oh my god. One of the scariest movies ever made, paid
Yeah.
off with a fantastic twist. Um my last pick, or my top pick, we've got M. Night again. And I'm gonna go with 2015's The Visit. And what I love about this film is I am a massive fan of M. Night. Um, I know he went sour at one point, and he kind of
Yeah.
left Hollywood, but I'm a huge fan of him. I love his first few films and then his resurgence past The Visit. And this is why I love this film so much as well, because M. Night's on his way out of Hollywood. He decides to make this film and he starts funding it himself. And then Blumhouse gets on board and helps him fund the movie, and then Universal release it. And it becomes a big hit, and M. Night's back on a fast track, back to Hollywood. That's why I love this movie. But on top of that as well, M. Night delivers another fantastic twist, a really fun one, another one I didn't see coming at all. And we've got a found footage movie, and we've got siblings who decide to go visit their grandparents, who they've actually never met. Somehow they've never seen any photos of them either.
Somehow.
Somehow. If it was set in like the 1900s, fair enough, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got these siblings who go to visit their grandparents for the week. On arrival, their grandparents are there and everything's great until night comes and they start acting up and doing crazy things. And obviously, like any horror movie, it progresses as the film goes on. And you're like, what the hell is up with these grandparents? They're acting so odd. That was strange to say, so odd. So you've got these grandparents and the kids are starting to sense that something is off. Now, same with the other ones, I'm not going to go into too much detail or give the movie a review, but it's really brilliant. It builds up this sense of dread as the film goes on, and you've got these grandparents, like I said, who are acting up. But the reveal at the end, right, and the big reveal for the twist of this movie is fantastic, and M. Night delivers another fantastic one, where you've got like the pinnacle of the movie right towards the end. Again, if you haven't seen the film, do not watch this part, where the kids are on FaceTime to their mother, and you get that reveal where she's looking at them and she goes, "Kids, that's not your grandparents."
So it's so good.
We are.
Those aren't your grandparents.
It's such a good scene. I absolutely loved it.
I got goosebumps now saying it.
Yeah, I know. That realization of
Yeah.
who the hell have these two kids been living with for the past week?
Yeah.
And basically what's happened is that these two nut jobs have come, killed their grandparents, and basically taken over the house. These kids are absolutely none the wiser as to what's going on. And just that one scene where she goes, "Kids, that's not your grandparents." That is such a great reveal,
Yeah.
because
Brilliant.
it's the equivalent, right, of just sending your two kids to two randomers. Go live with these two for a week, because it's the exact same thing. Like that terror of who have I been living with for the last week?
Yeah.
Now, there's a few things that bug me in this film. I'm not going to go into any details, but on overall, it's a cracking film and a really
It is.
good step back in the door for M. Night.
I would say that it's a return to form. Not
Yeah.
the heights of Sixth Sense, Unbreakables, and Signs, but shows that he's still got a bit of guts. A bit
Yeah,
of
definitely.
yeah. Good pick.
Here we are,
Yeah.
guys. That's all we got time for. Catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.